the turquoise coast is a seaside playground left untouched for just over a year. Antalya itself is steeped in history dating back to 150 BC. Famous sites such as the Roman Gate, the Olympos Amphitheatre and the once bustling marketplaces are a hotspot for tourists seeking culture, seaside adventure and the odd bargain or two. But not today. Today, Antalya is the host city for archery's European Championships. And we're here. Beautiful weather for the final session on Recurve Sunday. We have some great matches coming up, and well, the weather, as always, has played its part here on the Turkish coast. The wind pretty steady at the moment, but look at that temperature, 32 degrees. It's hot, but it has burnt away a little bit of the humidity I know the archers have been suffering with over the week. But it's the wind that has caused most issues here on Recurve Sunday. We've got the medal matches coming up for the, well, new Olympic discipline, mixed team bronze and gold coming up, followed by the individual medal matches. Well, let's take a look at what's coming up first. The mixed team medal matches. Poland lost out to Russia at the top of the order, and it was Turkey who were edged out by Spain. So first up, Poland versus Turkey for bronze. I'm Karen Bashir, and joining me for this bronze medal match is Nikki Hunt. Debuting at the Olympic Games, how important is this European Championship mixed team medal match?
Really important. It's such an exciting event and can't wait to see it at the Olympic Games this year.
Yeah, they're out, ready to go. Poland having a great European Championships. Turkey will be pleased to be here, perhaps a little disappointed not to make the gold medal match.
On target, number 1, representing Poland, Magdalena Zmiakowska, Kasper Sierakowski. On target, number 2, representing Turkey, Gülnaz Coşkun and Mete Gazos. Line judge for this match is Miss Katarina Konchalova.
So here we have it, Magdalena Śmielkowska and Kasper Sierakowski lining up for Poland. But shooting first, it is the might of Gülnaz Coşkun and Mete Gazos of Turkey. The Turks came through ranking as the 3rd seed, but lost out in a shoot-off with Spain in the semi-finals. Can they pick themselves up for this bronze medal match against a game Polish squad? Mete Gazos to get us underway.
Various wind conditions through the day here on this field. Looking fairly calm at the moment. We can see the big flags behind the archers.
Well, communication immediately between the Turkish coach and the archers. The thing has been the variability of the wind. As Poland begin with a 10, a solid start from Magdalena Śmielkowska, who's the world number 47 at just 23 years old, handing over to Kasper Sierakowski. So it looks like Koskan's going to be shooting the 2nd and 3rd arrows. Great recovery from that 7.
8.
Dropping down off the 8 to finish on the 34. It's marked for a measure, but it did look low. So, 4-point margin of error here for Poland in the first set. Oh, look at the tension for Śmiałkowska, but she gets a 9. Beautiful couple of arrows from Kasper Siakowski, and Poland have launched into a 2-0 lead here. I've got to say that Magdalena Śmiałkowska is very slight, and when she was at full draw there, she was really under huge amounts of muscle pressure, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think it was probably more the pressure getting to her, showing a bit of the nerves and shaking, and that can show as if the bow's too heavy for her. But I'm sure if she trains regularly and is strong enough for a bow. So these bows can be various kind of poundage. Women probably shooting around 40 pounds, maybe some of the top women shooting up to the mid-40s, and the men a bit higher, mid-40s, even into the 50 pounds they're holding at full draw there.
We saw on the Turkish side of the shooting line that there was a sort of rise in performance from Gulnaz Koshkin shooting a 7 first. But interestingly, they're switching their order. Gazos kicks off and Gazos closes off.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a strong archer, isn't he? So he's just deciding to open up and close and give Koshkin a bit more comfort, really.
Well, here we go. Turkey down in the second set. 2-0. Need a strong start to fight back here. Again, drifting out over into the 7, following on from where Koshkin put her first arrow in the first set.
It's strange, isn't it? I mean, this field can do strange things with the wind, but these two archers train here regularly. They should know it inside out.
Bravo. To the other side. So one low right, one low left.
Tak jest, pięknie,
super. Right, she does look very nervous because you're even getting the little shake in the face and in the cheek, and she's getting those arrows out very quickly. Perhaps a good idea.
Yeah, it's good to keep the time in, keep moving, and just getting a good result there.
Seven.
Well, here we can switch back to Turkish archers who are on 15-2 behind. And going left. Got the height changed over. Look at Mete Gazos, he just looks so natural with that bow in his hand. Coming off with it in 10, and a 33 out of a possible 40. Another big opportunity for Poland here.
Yeah, absolutely, if they can just keep them in the gold here.
8.
Another one high and right.
Yes, pięknie.
And a beautiful finish. 35 is enough to take those 2 set points. And I should have said high and left, a couple going high and left for the Poles, but actually doing just enough to edge the first 2 sets here. Score's not particularly high, but actually the wind looks like it is blowing, but it looks steady at the moment.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. See those windsocks down the range there on the left, both blowing in the same direction, which is good to see. Sometimes it bounces off the hedge and the screen there to the right and can come back onto the field and can show different things, which is difficult as an archer to then decide where should I aim. Look at hand position of the archer. You know, she's got her fingers really out to the side. Look at Mete's, just that 45-degree angle that we normally see. So just a bit of a front hand position difference for the Polish archer.
I can't say that any one archer has really stood out here. All of them have shot really good shots and a couple of spurious ones. Turkey trailing by 4 set points to 0 after the first 2 sets. Going to this third set, it could all be over. They don't win this outright. Another solid shot there. Turkey, of course, have qualified for this mixed team event at the Olympic Games already. This is a dress rehearsal in some respects, but they are being undone by a Polish team who have got no qualifiers.
This won't be the team we're going to see though, because Koskan was beaten, wasn't she, by her teammate Yasmin Anagos in those quarter-finals. So it will be a different team at the Olympic Games.
Chances here, 2 9s from Turkey, followed up by an 8 from Magdalena Smilkowska. Beautiful shot from Sierakowski. Has levelled things up here. Big deep breath from Gulnaz Koskan, 21-year-old, wants a European bronze medal. Oh, drifting into the 7 again. Beautiful shot, but even with that 10, a 35 might not be enough here. Back to Magdalena Smilkowska. She's got an 8 with her first arrow of this third set. What can she do with the second? Great shot into the 10. Pressure now moves over to Kasper Sierakowski. He's got a lot of time. Going through his process, trying to keep it as normal and as regular as possible. Needs a 7, gets a 9, and that is more than enough for Poland to take this in 3 sets. What a dominant victory from them. They started hard and fast, and they continued. It's a little bit lackluster from what we're used to as a very strong Turkish team, though.
Yeah, really strange. Wasn't expecting that at all. Thought Turkey would put on a much bigger performance. Came in seeded 3rd, Poland 12th. But you know, Turkey's job this week really was to gain those individual spots for the Olympic Games. They did that on Friday, and maybe you know they've come down from that. It was just stepped them too far. And yeah, you know, I'd certainly take an Olympic quota spot over a bronze, you know, European medal. But what a week they've had, and we're going to see them again later in the year.
Yeah, we certainly are, but hats off to Magdalena Smilkowska and Kasper Sierakowski. They have performed brilliantly here. This will give them a big boost going into the final Olympic qualifier in Paris. Team spots up for grabs, and of course that could change things regarding the individual placings as well. We'll take a look back over the match. Metegazos just looks like he was born with a bow in his hand, doesn't he? He's so natural.
Yeah, great competitor, world number 2. He took out Kasper, didn't he, in the quarters of that Olympic qualification on Friday as well, so maybe it was a bit of a time to get his own back on Mete.
Yeah, a bit of revenge for the Poles. There was a nervy Magdalena Smielkowska, but she held it all together. Very slight at full draw. She looked shaky, and I think with all the nerves, it was a tough one. But between her and Kasper Sierakowski, the Poles have taken the European bronze medal in the recurve mixed team event. Clearing off the target faces for our gold medal match, which is coming up very, very shortly indeed. But Nikki, brilliant move from World Archery to get the mixed team included in the Olympic Games, because it's a quick format, one man, one woman. It sort of ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You know, so excited to see it this time round. And you know, for countries, you either used to qualify a whole team of 3 or one individual. So a lot of individuals will go there with just one chance of a medal. And now, if they've got a man and a woman from that country, they've got another chance of the mixed team medal. So fantastic format. I really like to see a male and a female in a sport competing together on level terms. I think that's a really good thing for sport.
Yeah, and certainly archery allows that, and quite right, for the smaller nations, the mixed team does offer another opportunity for a medal. Well, having a look at Thomas Sugar and Lisa Barbalat walking across now. I can promise you there's no rain out there. That umbrella is to shield them from this baking hot sun. They are, of course, preparing for events a little bit later on in this session. As you can see, the wind is now blowing consistently. The 2 windsocks that Nikki mentioned on the left-hand side at the end of the range have been blowing in different directions all through this week. And finally, on this Sunday afternoon, they started blowing in the same direction. Comfort for the archers who are coming out very shortly for the mixed team gold medal match here on Recurve Sunday. So it's time to see who is going to be crowned the European champion in the recurve mixed team event, as Russia lead out Spain in what promises to be a thrilling gold medal match playoff. Let's go down to the stadium for the introductions.
On target number 1, representing the Russian Federation, Elena Ozipova. Adnan Chipikchapov. On target number 2, representing Spain, Elia Canales. Pablo Acha. The line judge of this match is Cristina Tiflidou.
So here we go. Teams ranked 1st and 7th for this competition. Russia with Elena Osipova and Alda Sibikzapov, world number 19 and world number 92. They were the top seeds after the ranking round. Will go up against Spain's Elia Canales, just 19 years old, in the world number 27, and Pablo Acha, the world number 24. It will be Osipova to get us underway. This for the European crown.
Eight. Nine.
So a fairly solid start, both in the same area of the target. No male Russian archer qualified yet for the Olympic Games. I'll be hoping to correct that in Paris. Whereas it's a different story for the Spaniards.
Yeah, Spain have got their 2 individual spots already, so they will have a mixed team there. Pablo achieving his at the European Games in 2019, and Spain picking another one up on Friday in the women's. But Elia had a big fight, didn't she, against her compatriot Insdil Velasco, who took the spot.
9 or 10 liner.
Yeah, давай вперед.
Well, 3 of the 4 arrows shot at the beginning of this gold medal match all drifting off to the left. Archer has either made a correction or he knew that the wind was going to push them that way.
9 на 2.
Sipova has made the correction as well. Slightly over the top.
Yeah, when we looked before the match, the wind was a tailwind over left to right slightly, and it looks like it's died down, so the arrows are not moving quite as far perhaps as they thought they would.
So 36 for Russia, 2 10s, and Spain have definitely got this one. A 10 and a 9, and they might still do if that 9 gets marked up. Well, not anymore. Now they need the measure to go in their favour, and they need Pablo Archer to score a 10 here as well to draw a level on set points. Does put it into the 10, and now that measure becomes very important indeed at the start of this gold medal match. My gut feeling when it first went in was that it was a 9, and looking at it there as the second arrow flew in from Hatcher, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I also thought probably a 9, so we'll have to wait for the measure from the judge to make that decision whether they're going to split the points or not.
Of the judge on the target.
The communication with both teams here, both talking to each other, chatting through what the conditions were like in that first set. As Nikki said, the wind actually dropped there, so they prepared for windier conditions, which is why we saw those first 3 arrows flying perhaps not quite where they were intended to go.
The result has been confirmed. 36-35, 2-0 lead for the Russian.
So there you have it. The measure did not go in favour of the Spanish team, and Russia lead 2 set points to 0. All smiles still on the Spanish side of the shooting line though.
Yeah, that's important with the set system, so reset now, get back into the game.
So it's time for set number 2. And trailing as they do, Spain will shoot first, and first up it's Elia Canales. 19-year-old has really shone as we've returned to archery. What can she do in the fight back from Spain right now?
6.
Not what she wanted. Not sure you can blame the wind on that one.
No, I think probably a soft shot there. She did break down a little bit in that quota tournament with similar issues with arrows going low.
But the response from her teammate is very good indeed. Pablo Archer straight into the X ring, which is the smaller ring inside the 10 ring. Fist pump here, showing what this means for the Russians. They have come here to take this European title. And a 19 plays 15 in the first half of this set means that Russia are odds on to go 4-0 up here.
Good to see. Good arrow bouncing straight back from that first one. Well, how much would that 19 be creeping into the Russians' thoughts here? Ideally, not at all. Stick to this arrow, stick to the process.
Well, they certainly have done that. Sipova into the 10 ring, handing over to Sibik Zapov. Just over into the 8, but more than enough. A 37 means Russia do go 4 set points to 0 up. The reason I asked about that second half for the Spaniards is that I think the Russians would have been confident they were going to go 4-0 up, but there are signs that the Spanish team have found the centre of the target for later on.
Yeah, I think they would have probably been aware of that 5 in the first half of the end, and the pressure really comes off a little bit. So, you know, again, I guess that's thinking about outcome, but ideally these guys really should be just thinking about themselves. You know, when you're in a match and everything's going on, it all goes quite quickly. You haven't really got time to be thinking what they're doing. You just stick with what you're doing. So, yeah, just shoot each and every arrow best you can. See Elia's arrow here on the clicker, moving back and forward a little bit, soaring. I think that first arrow, she just probably went a little bit soft, probably just shot, as she shot, the follow through, the explosive follow through that we see there probably didn't happen, and it just fell low.
Looks to me like the Spanish delegation, though, have said to Elia Canales, hey, relax, don't worry. Doesn't matter if you win the title or not here. Sort of giving her a bit of freedom, I suppose.
Well, they've still got the team spaces to play for, 3 left in Paris, so they've got to stay positive for that.
Well, Spain trail Russia, a strong and determined Russia, 4 set points to 0, and will shoot first in the 3rd. Over to you, Elia Canales. Fist bump from the coach, a big smile of satisfaction on the 19-year-old's face. Pablo Archer up next. Spot suggesting there's good communication between Archer and Canales. Osipova and Sibik Zapova have a great opportunity here, though, to do this in 12 arrows.
9.
Matching them exactly, so yeah, a little bit more pressure now on Spain. They've got to get, well, they've got to win the set. They can't afford to tie it, so they've really got to put down their best arrows now. A bit of soaring again on that clicker. Good execution there.
Only an 8, though. When you say soaring, you mean she's pulling in and out,
yeah.
the arrow's moving up and down on the clicker.
Slightly back and forward, isn't it, as she's more perhaps settling into anchor point, but I just wonder if that was happening as that poor shot happened in the last end.
Well, he's well groomed. He's very centred, Pablo Archer, into the 10s to put a bit of pressure on this Russian team. But as Nikki says, they just have to match that 18 over these 2 arrows. And they will be European champions. There's 9. So a 9 is enough to draw level on points in this set and take the 1 point they need to take the European title. Oh, look at that. It's right on the line. And look what it means to Eldar Sibik Zapov. It's a great win for Russia, a dominant performance from them. They have got no male athletes qualified for the Olympic Games just yet, but that will give them bags of confidence. And we've got to really be expecting Russia to qualify at the final opportunity in Paris for the Recurve men's team medal match, and that will give them the opportunity to compete in the mixed team in Tokyo as well. Brilliant performance from Russia. Elena Osipova and Eldar Sibik Zapov taking the European title. very, very impressed by that Russian pairing.
Yeah, really strong team, aren't they? They're just stuck in it, in their groove. No real bother, really, was it, for them? And they look strong throughout. So, yeah, like you say, they're going to be going to Paris now with this confidence at the World Cup. They want to get those Olympic spots where they can. There's a team space up for grabs. And also, if not, then an individual spot so they can get into that mixed team for the first time in the Olympic Games.
Well, great performance as we take a look back over that match. Pavlo Acha performing at the height of his abilities at the moment, and I think to some extent the Spanish delegation had kind of let the shackles off on Antalya Canales. She's only 19 years old. She's sort of just emerged, and in the strangest of times where we haven't had the opportunity to see the juniors in their final year of competition before moving to seniors, you're going to see these new names burst out, and you don't want to put too much pressure on them. I think it's a good standard set by the Spaniards to do that, but on the other side it was all business for Osipova, and the Russian teammate Eldar Tsibikzapov. They wanted it bad, didn't they?
They did. I think Elia just needs to get out there and get as much experience as she can under pressure, and you know, she'll be able to do that now that we're back open and doing all these competitions in a safe way.
Yeah, Russia dominant in that, but a caveat to the performance. It was a good performance by the Spaniards, but Russia were there for the gold, and hopefully we'll get a chance to have a word with them before we move on to the medal ceremonies. More action to come as well in the form of the individual medal matches. You can see now that the wind on those big flags, if you look at the flags that towards the closest to us, they're just fluttering very gently and nicely in the wind, and then look down at the windsocks on the left hand side down the range, quite blowing in the same direction as the flags down this end.
Yeah, it really does change quickly. We're right near the coast here, so not only does wind speed change, but direction changes quickly as well. That large hedge down the right hand side of the field, it can bounce off and swirl around, so you've got to look at all these different factors. You know, you can use the trees, you can use the hedge just to see where the wind's coming, what direction, what speed you think it's coming at.
Sun clearly causing an issue for some of them as well. Sensibly out with the umbrellas, and some of them in the shade. Looking at the Turkish delegation there, some of the athletes, coaches. Having a look at who's left here in Antalya. And there's a young German we'll be seeing a little bit later on as well. Clearly a protection from the sun a requirement here in Antalya. And we will be having a chat with the winners. I'm not sure how much we're going to understand. Did you have a chance in the break to study your Russian, Nikki?
My Russian isn't too good, no.
Spasiba. Well, we are waiting for the Russian pairing of Elena Osipova and Eldar Tsibikzapov. And I think that the issue that we've got is we haven't got a translator, which may mean that we won't get a chance to speak with them. But you have to say, they're very, very strong pairing, looking very good. And let's hope Russia do, you know, we've got to stay impartial here, but let's hope they do qualify just to see those two at the Olympic Games.
Yeah, they're going to take a lot of confidence in this competition just at the right time, 2 weeks ahead of the final quota tournament for the Olympic Games.
Perhaps the Russian coach is looking to use some form of translating software. No, it looks like we are going to go straight to the medal ceremony, as you can see just down to the bottom right hand side of your screen. Oh, here they come, the bearers of the medals and the medalists for the Recurve mixed team European Championships. Great to see it debut in a few weeks' time at the Olympic Games.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bit of a dress
the
rehearsal for all of us,
for the
so which teams, certainly in Europe, are in good form. So here we have it, the 3 pairings that have taken medals at the 2021 European Championships.
Governor of Antalya.
Turkey were in with a shot, but they lost out in the bronze medal match to Poland, Magdalena Smirkowska and Kasper Sierakowski. Great performance from the pair of them.
Representing Spain.
Spain came with high hopes. The men's team's certainly been in form recently. They were given a bit of breathing space because 19-year-old Elia Canales teamed up with Pablo Acha in the first of possibly many title shots for that young Spanish female archer. Silver for Spain. But they came here with business on their mind. They wanted to be on top of the podium, and they have made it there. The 28-year-old Elena Osipova, world number 19, teamed up with the world number 92 and 25-year-old Aldar Sibik-Zapov to claim the gold and the European title here in Antalya. You can see how much it meant to them, and they were so determined. So, with pleasure, we'll listen to their anthem.
Please give a warm round of applause for our athletes.
Well, brilliant performance from the Russians, Osipova and Sibik-Zapov, to take the gold medal. And here are the final rankings here at the European Championships. Russia, top of the pile, beating Spain confidently in the final. And Poland doing a great job to take bronze, beating Turkey in that playoff match. Now, I'm told that, and well, we can see here, that it looks like the Russian pairing may be heading for the mix zone, and we may have a chance to hear what they have to say. They've scrabbled around Antalya, pulled someone off the beach that speaks Russian, English and Turkish, I'm guessing. And it means we have a chance to speak to the new European champions very soon. We're just getting the, I think they're probably putting a bit of branding on the translator. Here they are.
Congratulations, you are European champions. How do you feel?
Поздравляю вас, вы европейские чемпионы. Как вы себя чувствуете?
Лена. Мы очень счастливы, горды за нашу команду и за свою страну.
We are very happy and we are very proud for winning and for our team.
It seemed like an easy match. Did it feel that way to you?
Вам не показался очень легким этот матч?
Нет, любой матч, он всегда держит напряжение, и расслабляться никогда, не было времени расслабиться, и поэтому
нельзя назвать этот матч легким.
It's not to say it was easy because anyway it was a stress and we are trying hard and it was not so easy.
How important is this victory ahead of the Olympics?
Что вам это? Please,
How important is the victory ahead of the
насколько
Olympics?
важна эта победа перед Олимпиадой?
Я считаю, что эта победа прибавит нам уверенности для квалификационного турнира во Франции. И мы сможем...
I believe that that victory give us confidence for World Cup in France for get a license for Olympic Games.
Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Спасибо большое, поздравляю.
Well, diplomatically handled by Aldar Zibigzapov there. He was asked how he feels about the win going into the Olympic Games. But of course, the Russians haven't got a men's team qualified or an individual man qualified yet. And so he turned it around and said, well, it gives us confidence going into that final qualification tournament in Paris in a couple of weeks' time. We take a look back over the match, and there is Zibigzapov with the final arrow and that outpouring of emotion there, delighted with the win and the European title. They'll have other things on their mind right now. They've climbed the podium here in Antalya, taken the gold medal and the European title, but there's a bigger job at hand, and that is qualifying for Tokyo just a couple of weeks' time in Paris. Well, that is the mixed team medals sorted. We've got the interview in the end. Don't go far. We've got the individual medal matches coming up very soon here on Recurve Sunday. So here we go. It's time to start the individual medal matches here on Recurve Sunday. We're starting with the women's bronze medal match. Denisa Barankova losing to Lisa Barbalin at the top of the order. And it's Kirstine Andersen who will face her for bronze, having lost to Karina Zhominskaya of Belarus at the bottom of the order. Time for bronze here in Antalya. Denisa Barankova, 19 years old, from Slovakia, takes on Kirstine Andersen, the 23-year-old Dane.
On target number 1, representing Slovakia, Denisa Barankova. On target number 2, representing Denmark, Kirstine Andersen. The line judge for this match is Chaba Toth. Shooting first is target number 1, Denisa Barankova.
So it will be the Slovakian who'll shoot first. Denisa Barankova, correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki, qualified an individual spot for Slovakia and is likely to be the one to take that spot for the Olympic Games.
Yeah, that's right. We saw that on Friday, didn't we, in the quota tournament. She came away in the count back with a Olympic quota spot.
Kirstine Andersen for Denmark. Well, they've got one female athlete qualified. It's not going to be her, is it?
No, Denmark early announced that it would be Maja Jager who'd take that spot.
Well, here she is, the Slovakian Denisa Barankova. Got another chance in a podium match here to get us underway. Starts with an 8. The Slovakian pocket rocket.
8.
Pair of 8s from these two young archers.
7.
Drifting off to the left there, Nikki.
Yeah, it's a good group, isn't it? Both together. You'd rather have them both together. Just need to make some adjustments to get them in. Both archers, both to the left, so probably conditions that are affecting them.
Yeah, start of the match. Try to feel their way in without giving up too much. Managed to find a way back across to the centre, but still adjusting a target there. Barankova of Slovakia finishes with 23.
7.
And it's 24, so just enough for Andersen to take the first 2 set points. Now, I refer to Barankova as a pocket rocket. She's small in stature, but she certainly packs a punch. We saw that in qualification. And it also demonstrates that archery is a sport for any kind of body build, any kind of type.
Yep, literally, we can get anyone shooting arrows, so it doesn't matter really your size or shape. I think if you get really, really tall, then it gets a bit of a problem with arrow length, because the taller you are, the longer the arrows you need, so you can struggle if you're really, really tall, but yeah, anyone can come try archery.
Yeah, so we've got a tall Dane on target 2 and a much shorter Slovakian on target 1. And you talk about, it's opened up a whole area that we could talk about for hours. I don't think many people would realise, unless they're archers, that the arrow lengths are different depending on basically how long your levers are.
Yeah, so it's relative to how long your arms are effectively, and there's a bit of, you can cut them to a certain length. You can see the clicker on the clicker plate, so within an inch or 2 the archer can cut them down very, very specifically, which also affects their spine.
Well, let's save that geek chat for later on and start talking about the flexion of the arrows as they leave the bow, etc, etc. There's a bronze medal at stake here. 2-0 to Andersen. Barankova will lead out, and she's having to reset there. Is that the wind?
I think I heard another arrow hit. I have a feeling that Kirstine Andersen shot her arrow out of sync here.
That is a good call. It does look like that has happened. Now, an 8 from Barankova. What's the ruling there?
Well, she shot out of turn. She will have lost her arrow, or was it just the cameraman who's... No, it definitely should have been Denisa to shoot first because she's trailing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's got a miss. So she shot out of turn. It was not her turn to shoot. That 10 will become a miss. What a great end as well.
3 10s from Anderson, but she doesn't effectively get to shoot her third arrow because she went early. What a mistake to make. And 3 8s, and it's just about enough for Barankova to draw level. That is a very unusual start to the second set. I don't think I've ever seen an archer going out of turn. How?
Really curious. They're obviously chatting to the line judge just now, but
well, this looks like it might well be that arrow that she shot first. Well, it was the first arrow clean into the target. Look how good that shot is as well, but it wasn't her turn to shoot. How would she make a mistake like that?
it's odd. Before the start of the end, the judge will go to each archer and say, you will shoot first, you will shoot second. So unless that was wrong, I don't know, I didn't see that or notice that at the time. Unless that was called wrong, I mean, that would be an issue. Because if you've just been told by the judge to shoot first, that's the only issue I can see. But the timing clocks are there for you as well. They're obviously having a chat about this. The coach behind you should also be telling you, you know, your clock's not started. Get off the line. You know, put your arrow away. But I'm not quite sure why she felt she should be up first, unless she was told by the line judge on the line to do so. But it's always the trailing archer, so we do switch, and you know that's part of it, that the trailing archer always go first. There's always an alternation.
Well, here you see the two archers shooting together at the beginning of that, and a red card coming up from the judge on the left-hand side as we look at it. There is a huge amount of confusion from both archers there at the start of that, but I think Kirstine Andersen actually clocked what had happened. I can only think that you're right, and the line judge has incorrectly told Kirstine Andersen that she's to shoot first, and she's just followed the instructions. How it wasn't picked up by the coach, yes, that's for debate. How it wasn't picked up by the judge before Andersen let go of the arrow is up for
the
grabs.
Judge at that point isn't there to tell them to shoot or not. They're there with their card. If you're shooting out of sync, he did the right thing in that respect. He showed the red card and she continued to shoot. The coach was actually looking down at his pad, I think, if you look now. So see what's happening. He's looking, I think the coach is just looking down the scope, but he's not really aware either. It actually put Denise off. You could see a little, because she was aware someone else shot and thought, whoa, hang on a minute, I'm a full draw, this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, we thought it was, she was being buffered by the window. I certainly did, and you called it perfectly. You heard another arrow go. This is a debate that may take a little bit of time to resolve. One has to be fair, of course, to Kirstine Andersen, but equally, the other archer has done nothing wrong. Denisa Barankova was supposed to shoot first. And the toughest thing of all here is it was a brilliant set of 3 arrows from the Dane. And I think she's shaking her head because she's probably been told, look, you may well have been misadvised to shoot first, but you knew you were leading. You know that you will shoot second.
Yeah, the scores under the targets are showing the correct score as well. They were. It's now saying 2-all, but well, I suppose it is if we're following through with it. So at the time, they showed her in the lead, and you'd never shoot first if you were in the lead. But she's got to reset herself here. I think we're going to continue as we are, 2 apiece. She's got to put that out of her mind. That's gone. She shot a great 30. Well, go out there and do it again and see what happens now.
Yeah, certainly was a better 3 hours. 3 8s it was from Barankova, and she only beat her opponent by 4 points. Her opponent only had 2 arrows. Barankova all square though, 2 apiece as we go into the third set of 4 here. Another 8 from the Slovakian. Now, what's the temperament like, Kirstine Andersen? She's got it into the 9.
I don't know if you can see her eyes moved across then. I wonder whether she's staring at that clock as she comes up to make sure. You must be second judging yourself on everything before actually looking at the sight.
Great finish from Barankova though. She's the one that's been disrupted as much as Andersen, so we've got a feel for her with a 27. She's going to snatch the points here to go 4-2 up. And Barankova perhaps benefiting from an error. Well, it was multiple errors, really, wasn't it? I think the judges clearly called for Anderson to shoot first in the second set. That was the first mistake. Anderson not clocking it, not challenging it. The coach not clocking it and challenging it.
I mean, as an archer stood there, if we don't know, I'm only assuming, but if that judge came up to you and said you shoot first, I would just do what the judge told me. You know, you're not interested in the score. You're trying to avoid most of the time what's going on around you. You just shoot when you're told to shoot. You get on with it. But the coach, really, that's the coach's job to see what's going on, to look down. You're in the lead. You shouldn't be shooting first. You know, really, that coach should have stepped in and done something. But it's just such an unusual thing to have happened.
Yeah, and the only reason that we're sort of putting the judge in the firing line here is because there was such a debate between them. If the judge had said exactly the right thing and that Barankova was going to shoot first, there's no way that Anderson would have stepped up to the line by the looks of things. So it's not, everyone can make a mistake. We're not questioning judge's ability here, but it's created a bit of controversy for us in this European bronze medal playoff. It is Barankova who is leading now by 4 set points to 2 as we go into the fourth. Can Kirsten Anderson get this one back together? Oh, straight into the 10.
Just out there, great shooting from both these archers.
Well, she's matching Anderson. That's all Barankova has to do here to keep this lead, and that is a big wide open door there. An 8 is all that's required to win. She shot a lot of them. She shot another one, and that has taken her to a 6-2 victory. Denisa Barankova has taken the European bronze in, well, one of the most controversial matches that we've seen since our return to archery, with Kirsten Anderson shooting out of turn in what turned out to be a perfect 30 set for her, but only counting 2 of her arrows. What an incredible match, but the bronze medal goes to Slovakia's Denisa Barankova. Nikki, have you ever seen anything like it?
Not for a while. I mean, it's really rare, and often it's the timing clocks that were the wrong way round or something, or, you know, it's such a shame because, you know, it's obviously affected the result of this match. We don't know exactly why she shot out of turn, but, you know, we followed the rules. She shot when she shouldn't have shot. She gets a red card. She loses that arrow on that perfect 30. Such a shame.
Weird way to win bronze as well. You've got to think about Denisa Barankova. It's not just the loss for the Danish archer, it's how the win came about for the Slovakian. We take a look back on the match. It was an interesting start from the pair of them. A 2 set point lead for the Dane. And here is the debate. At the start, the end of the second set, and the coach there desperately trying to get Kirsten Anderson back into the right frame of mind, but I think you can see from the look on her face she is, well, let's go with the word miffed.
Yeah, it's just so disappointing because she shot so well on the end as well, and to lose that arrow of a set that she would otherwise have at least tied and almost certainly have won, it's really thrown her off. You know, she was just building up, wasn't she, into the match, and, you know, I think it put Denisa off as well, and there was no real celebration at the end for her. I think she felt as well it was, you know, a shame in the way that it was won, but, you know, she came through to be the better archer.
Yeah, held her composure through that mistake, and she could have easily been rattled by that.
Please welcome
Time now to go for gold here. The last of the European titles to be decided in Antalya. It's Lisa Barbarin of France up against Karina Jomanskaya of Belarus.
On target number 1, representing France, Lisa Barbarin. On target number 2, representing Belarus, Karina Jomanskaya. The line judge for this match is Katerina Konchalova. Shooting first on target number 1 will be Miss Barbarin from France.
So this for the European title, world number 8. Lisa Barbarin from France on target number 1 is just 21 years old, and she's up against the 26-year-old world number 36, Karina Jomanskaya of Belarus. The interesting thing here is that Barbarin had a brilliant performance a few days earlier here to qualify a place for the French in the women's recurve. Belarus have got a whole team qualified.
Nine. 7.
Solid shooting from Lisa in her groove.
Great arrow there from Jomanskaya, though. Barbarin was absolutely copper-hooked with her amazing performance in the qualifier a couple of days ago. Beaming smile, and in the final, when she'd already got that qualification place, there it is again. We're getting a repeat of the energy that she's bringing to the final stage. It really helps her.
Yeah, not only did she win a quota spot in the quarterfinals, she then came out more determined than ever, looking at that gold, burning the middle of it to come back and win the quota tournament. And I don't think I've ever seen her shoot so well. She's absolutely on fire, and I think we're going to see that perhaps again now.
Yep, she's looking on fire, but I've got to say, Jomanskaya there with a final arrow into the 10, only lost out by a single point in that first set of this gold medal match. Intriguing for sure. It's great to see the passion and energy from Barbarin. Not all archers show any of that emotion, raw and ready for all to see, but it does make for a great spectacle.
Yeah, it's a real mixture, you know. Really, I guess it's best to kind of try and stay in your bubble, but not show any emotion, not show the competitors around you what you're thinking or feeling. But sometimes I think, particularly when it comes down to those Olympic quota spots, it just pours out. And, you know, she didn't become over emotional. It made her more determined by the end of it.
Yeah, it was controlled emotion, that's for sure. She's come out to a great start here, 2-0 up after the first set, and it will be Karina Jomanskaya of Belarus, who is not showing too many emotions at the moment, who will shoot first in the second set. And to add to the drama here, the wind has got gusty again. It's blowing 1 second and then not the next. Will that affect the arrows in this set?
7.
Quite a knowing look, I think, on her face, that perhaps that just didn't go to plan.
You see the wind blowing from right to left across this range at the moment. It's not a strong wind. Just note that it's pointing to the left at the moment, and we see that windsock again. I wonder which direction it will be pointing in. So, a superb opportunity here for Barbarin.
Молодец, 10.
9 or 10 liner. Probably 10.
Well, called a 9, looked very much like a 10 to me, but a provisional 25 is achievable here. Another 9, a 28, whatever happens to that. Lisa Barbalan is 4-0 up in this gold medal match. She's on fire, isn't she?
She really is. It's her eyes looking at the target for me. She's so determined. She's on a roll now, and you know we've got the next World Cup in 2 weeks' time in Paris, in their home country as well, which is going to be really exciting. You know, is she going to step up and come out on the World Cup stage and really, you know, medal for the first time? She's done really well in Europe before. The European Grand Prix so far this year: Antalya silver, Porek gold. But in Europe in the world this year, sorry, Guatemala 9th, Lausanne 9th. But is Paris, the third World Cup, is this going to be where she keeps pushing forward and makes the final four?
Yeah, I think that it's looking good for her. And I think the other thing that you notice is that when an athlete in any sport is on fire, it's sometimes a bit of a mystery. How am I doing this? Why is it? And she just seems to be rolling with it. She's on great form, and she's happy about it, and she's enjoying it, and she's just letting it happen. It's really great to see an athlete in that kind of condition where everything just goes to plan. Difficult for the Belarusian, but perhaps she'll be pretty philosophical about this. She's made it through to this European Championship final. Karina Jomanskaya is almost certainly going to be in that Belarusian team at the Olympic Games. This is a bit of a dress rehearsal for what it's like on the big stage. 4-0 down though. I'm sure she's not given up yet. Recurve set system scoring does allow for the comeback, but it's got to start right now.
Молодец, 9 близнецов слева, умница.
9. Nine.
Ножку удержать желтым и мощную концовку. Молодец, 9 слева, 9 слева.
Nice grouping up just slightly to the left. Maybe the wind conditions, maybe a tweak of the sight needed. Solid, isn't it, from Lisa?
She's now given herself a chance to do this in 9 arrows. Jomanskaya needs to put some pressure on. A 10 would be ideal. It's a third 9. It's equaled her best score so far in the match, but it does need, Barbalan needs a 9 here to take the European Championship title. And a 9 it is that she's scored, and there is the emotion pouring out. A 28, a consistent set of 28s, in fact, throughout the match. Look at the unbridled joy on the face of Lisa Barbalan, composed enough to get the protective mask on before taking the respectful celebratory fist bump from her opponent. But look at the joy there. I mean, it's great to see. Hey, sport is back, archery is back. This is what we've missed.
European champion.
Yeah, look at those scenes. It just means so much to her. You know, I think you're right. She's really got a mental game in the right place. She's focused and determined on the line. In between ends, she's, you know, jovial and happy and smiling. And yeah, the outpour of emotion at the end. What a week it has been for her.
Superb stuff. Lisa Barbalan of France is the 2021 European champion in the women's recurve division here in Antalya. Well, they're just clearing the decks here as we take a look back on this. Look, there were a couple of odd arrows, wild ones for Karina Jomanskaya of Belarus. A couple of 7s to start the first and the second set. It just didn't set the tone for her, but actually, overall, she didn't shoot too badly at all. Everything else was 9s and 10s.
Yeah, we've had a mixed bag on this field, haven't we? You know, with the wind conditions changing, but she was consistent, 27, 26, 27, but Lisa Barbalan, I mean, 28, 28, 28, just look at that consistency, staying in the gold throughout the match, not a single one out of the gold, and she was just too good today.
She's on magic form at the moment, and it'll be her dream to keep that form going for another few weeks until the third stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. I wonder what she's going to say in her interview. It looks like she's just getting ready in the wings to have that interview. It'd be really interesting to see what she has to say. Let's go down and have a chat with the new European champion.
Lisa, you are European champion. How does that sound?
Very, very good. I really love this title. And what a match. It was an amazing match.
You win 6-0. Did you feel comfortable out there?
Yes, yes, yes. I take this match as a new match. I just be focused on my goal.
Yeah.
And yes, 6-0, very comfortable.
Okay, great. You were in tears after you got the quota, and now you win here. What a weekend for you. What do you have to say about that?
I'm really happy and really proud. But now it's Olympic Games and Paris, so I have to be focused.
Yes, 2 weeks until Paris. You'll try to qualify as a team. So
yeah.
How are you preparing for that?
We're gonna try by team maybe every day and to be the best in Paris.
Great, and coach, this is for you. How proud are you?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm very happy because she won all, so it's good. When you are coach, it's better.
Thank you very much, and congrats again.
Thank you very much.
Often missed out the coach. Great to see that, because the dynamic between athlete and coach is so important, but lovely to see. Not a boastful, but just an honest, yes, I shot really well. Yes, it went to plan. Yes, I'm getting ready for the next one.
Yeah, I mean, the French system is amazing. They've centralised a lot of their programme. Those coaches have been very influential, I'm sure, in her career over the last few years to bring her to this point. Great to see.
Time for the medal ceremony here for the Recurve women. The last of the women's action here in Antalya. It's a very strange bronze medal match to start the individual medal matches. You can only win what's put in front of you, and Denisa Barankova there at the back will be collecting the bronze medal for Slovakia.
Medals will be presented by Mr. Mario Scarzella, President of World Archery Europe.
So time for the medals to be presented by World Archery Europe President. Denisa Barankova actually being very respectful of her opponent Kirstine Andersen here by not really over-celebrating what must be a very important bronze medal to the 19-year-old from Slovakia. Did well to make the final. Karina Jomanskaya of Belarus has battled her way through this, beating Schlosser, Kruppen and Andersen on her route to the gold medal match. It wasn't quite good enough against her opponent and collects silver. I'd say the happiest, the smiliest person in Antalya right now is this young athlete here. Lisa Barbalan of France is just 21 years old. She's stormed onto the senior international circuit, came here as the world number 8 and is now the European champion. Well, time to celebrate with the Marseillaise.
Anthem of France. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to our athletes.
Well, so good to see that emotion from Barbalan, just holding back the tears. I think just about holding back the tears. Very happy to be in this form at the moment. Lots more to come from her, I am sure, as well. And a youngster, Recurve, as well. I think there's more to come from her, and we're going to see her at the Olympic Games as part of the team. Sorry, she's qualified as an individual for Slovakia. We take a look at the final rankings. Barbalan, top of the pile, deserved, on form, the best of the archers here this week. Karina Jomanskaya of Belarus picking up silver, and Denisa Barankova finishing off at the podium. The Slovakian picking up a curious bronze medal, but really today, and the women's tournament was all about this lady here. Look at that. That is what we've missed from sport. Top action, and then the passion and emotion, both of winning and losing. Great to see on the field here in Antalya. Pensive wasn't quite good enough for Barbalan today. Jomanskaya collects the silver though. And it's all about Lisa Barbalan. And title, the European title for France here in the Recurve women's division. She made a purposeful step there onto the top of the podium. Hello, it's mine, I deserved it, and it was great to hear something from the coach as well. He said, oh, she just made my job easy today. A very important part of that European title for sure. And there we have it. The Recurve women's individual European title to Lisa Barbalan. And that will finish things for the women here in Antalya. Coming up very soon, it's time to settle the medals in the Recurve men's division. Don't go far. Well, time now for the medal matches in the recurve men's division. First up, it's the bronze medal match between two Germans. Florian Unruh lost out to Pablo Acha in the semi-finals, and his teammate Maurice Weitzer lost to Gazlan Bazarsapov in the other semi-final. So first up, two Germans, Unruh and Weitzer, for bronze here in Antalya. As the music picks up, the athletes about ready to come out here. Interestingly for Germany, they have qualified one quota spot. Now the bronze medal final between two Germans, potentially competing for the one male quota spot they have for the Tokyo Olympic Games. It's Florian Unruh against Moritz Weitzer.
On target number 1, representing Germany, Florian Unruh. On target number 2, representing Germany, Moritz Weitzer. The line judge for this match is Clemens Cesar.
So Florian Unruh, 27 years old, world number 21, against the 20-year-old compatriot Moritz Weitzer, who is the world number 89. Now I want to spice this up, Nikki. Look, Florian Unruh is probably in pole position for the one male quota spot that Germany have got. They've got a chance to qualify in Paris. But perhaps a good result here from Weitzer against Unruh will put him into Germans' thinking if there isn't a men's team.
Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting there was Moritz didn't make up part of that German team who historically went out and won a gold medal for the team round in Lausanne at the Second World Cup. It's a brave decision for Germany to pick another man to come into this team, but what a good pick it was.
Well, Unruh gets this bronze medal match underway with an 8. A little bit of a wince there. Got a gust of wind, and it's now blowing properly, but look how Weitzer's handled that with a 10. So did that gust push Unruh off at the start there?
This field is just so, you know, changeable. Anything can happen. You've got to be on top of it all the time to try and make the best of your 20 seconds to shoot.
Well, they've called that a 10 in the stadium. It's marked as a 9 here. I tend to agree with whoever's pressing the buttons on the scoring. That was very close to the line, but probably a 9. A 28 finish for Unruh. 10 will put this one to bed. Into the 9, so now we need to have a measure. It's down as 1 set point each, but that second arrow from Weitzer, well, it was called a 10 in the stadium. The scorers put it down as a 9. Nikki,
Really hard
split
to
the
call.
difference, 9.5 perhaps?
Really hard to call. I think the shadow is on the inside there, so we couldn't quite see. The judge having a look with the magnifying glass from both angles to check whether he thinks it is touching the line. If it is, then it will be called the higher number.
Well, I still can't tell, to be honest with you.
Really, really tricky one to tell from here. Marking the arrows, so if there was an issue where the arrow went through the boss or bounced out of it, then there'd be an unmarked hole, and the archer would score from the unmarked hole.
Well, it looks like it might well have remained a 9 there. They pulled the arrows out. It looked like there was still a bit of yellow between the hole and the 10 ring. We await to see confirmation of the score here.
I thought I saw 2 set points for Florian.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. Unruh shooting first, but he did in the first one. Well, there it is,
Right.
confirmation. Congratulations, Nikki. It is 2 set points for Weitzer. Unruh starts with a 10. And I think that first arrow from Unruh was just his sighter. He is in the middle of the target at the moment.
Great shooting. These archers must know each other inside out, probably training together quite regularly.
Hold that one, you can see the expression on Unruh's face. He thinks he may well be 4 set points down after just 6 arrows. Got to keep your cool, take the opportunity when it comes, and that's certainly what Moritz Wiese has done here. A 4-0 lead, and just like that. Listen, recurve archery does tend to go a little bit faster because of the set point system, but in particularly in the individual, both when the men and women come out, they're shooting so fast. There's no time between the arrows flying into the targets.
Yeah, it's much more dynamic. You know, they're always moving through the shot, trying to make that good execution. They get 20 seconds to shoot, but often, you know, it really only takes perhaps 10 seconds to get through that shot routine. Some archers taking longer at full draw to settle down, but yeah, it's generally much quicker.
And look, whilst we say that recurve archery does allow for recovery at that speed, already perhaps the favourite for this bronze medal coming into it on paper, certainly Florian Unruh hasn't really got much of a chance to recover here.
No, I mean, Wiese is just shooting so well, isn't he? 29 so far. Can he do another one?
Unruh with 3 arrows to save his chance of a medal here at the European Championships. 4-0 down. The second buzzer goes, and he will get set number 3 underway. That really isn't a good start when you see how well Moritz Wiese is shooting.
Didn't look particularly happy with it, did it? But it went in the X. Something's not quite right there.
So 1 arrow here, a 10 is what he needs. He's got a 9. So here is the opportunity to do it in 9 arrows against his teammate. Moritz Wiese needs a 10 for European bronze. Brilliant, into the X ring, and it is 3 29s in a row. And look, just like that, blink and you'll miss it. Moritz Wiese has come out and he's stormed to the European bronze medal. Brilliant performance from him against a slightly off par Florian Unruh.
What a fantastic pick from Germany, you know, to go to the second World Cup, to win a historic men's team gold, and to pick somebody else to come into this European Championships. The depth they must have right now, these 4 men particularly, are all, you know, have got the class to take them through. They've got their 1 male spot. They will be fighting for that team spot in Paris in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, they certainly will. And the question is, who will they pick for that competition in Paris? Real head scratcher. It's a nice problem to have for a federation, to have more athletes than you need to make up a team that all could bring something to it. But it is Moritz Wiese who here in this individual European Championship in the recurve men's discipline has taken the bronze medal. Brilliant performance from him. We're going to get some iconic photographs, I think, from this tournament as well, with the clear skies and these beautiful reflections in the sunglasses. You get a sort of double view of what's going on from one angle. Didn't quite go according to plan. A few stray arrows from into the 8. Nothing outside the yellow for Moritz Visa, and he is the 2021 European bronze medal winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the
Time now to go for gold. The European Championship title at stakes here in Antalya for the recurve men. We're down to just 2. Pablo Acha of Spain and Galsan Bazarjapov of Russia.
On target number 1, representing Spain, Pablo Acha. On target number 2, representing the Russian Federation, Galsan Bazarjapov. The line judge for this match is Kristina Tiflidou.
Archers is ready.
Shooting first on target number 1 will be the Spanish archer, Pablo Acha.
So here we go. The last of the medal matches here in Antalya, Turkey at the 2021 delayed European Championships. World number 30, Pablo Acha of Spain. He's 24 years old on target 1. He will shoot first up against the world number 12, 26-year-old Russian Galsan Bazarjapov. Pablo Acha is the man in form for the Spanish team at the moment. He's going to shoot first. Conditions have settled right off. It's a little unusual to drop that one into the 8. Bazarjapov has gone one further and out to the left and low for a 7. Sighters out of the bows already for both of these archers.
Just grouping low left. You know, the conditions can change here quickly. They've come off the practice field further down the range, so the wind perhaps hitting the hedge to their right could be changing what's happening. That one on the line, I think, the 10.
Yeah, I think you're right, and clearly there have been condition changes here because both of them were out to the left and low. An overcorrection perhaps from Acha. Not the greatest of starts from him, a 24 here. So the set points will be shared with a 7, anything more, and Bazarjapov is 2-0 up. And of course it is just about enough with an 8. It's gone for a measure, but make no difference. 2 set points to 0 for the Russian archer, world number 12, possibly edging as the favourite if you just look at this on paper, but at the moment Acha is on some pretty rich form.
Yeah, he certainly has been. We've seen him shoot really well with the team, you know, leading up to this competition as well, but Galsan actually won the European Grand Prix on this field earlier this year, so, you know, perhaps he's feeling, you know, this is my field, I come here, I win gold, I'm going to come here and do it again.
Yeah, stranger things have happened, and if you look at the lineup here, I mean, of course we've had pandemic delayed European Championships by a year, but they're usually 2 years apart anyway, so we've got 3 years between the last European Championships in Legnica, Poland, where Steve Weyer won this competition from the Netherlands. Dan Olerud of Moldova picked up the silver, and JC Valadon, Charles Valadon of France took the bronze medal. It's a complete switch around, although we've seen some great performances from Weiler and Valadon this week.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, with that year gap, really, we just don't know what's happening. We've got some new archers coming through, some youth archers coming through doing really well. You know, different people have used that time in different ways, either more accessibility or less, to be able to train hard. So yeah, it's just really interesting to be back now and see where everyone is at.
Yeah, and going back to your point, Bazarjapov's experience in these conditions it could well mean the difference.
Yeah, he knows this field.
Time for set number 2 of this European Championship title decider. Pablo Acha, trailing by 2 set points, will lead us out. It's more like it, and the Spaniards still remaining in Antalya, cheering him on. Marked for a measure, I think that's in the 10. That's a definite 9, and he was trying to steer that one across, Nikki.
Yeah, you could see the correction. He probably knew perhaps his sight wasn't quite in the right place, or felt something that was going to make it go in that direction and try to make the correction, but very difficult at that stage. Brilliant group. He's just got to move those across now.
Did he hit an arrow then?
I'm not sure. Sometimes you can get deflection and that can send them out. I'm not sure I heard anything on that one, but it certainly can happen.
So a pair of 9s according to the scoreboard. Bazazhapov making a slight adjustment to his sight. Just trying to correct it, got the direction left, right correct, but a 27 is achievable here for Bazazhapov with a 9. A 10 will put him 4-0 up. Oh, he's dropped it onto the 7-8 line, and now it's 2-all. Irrespective of the measure, dropped the ball there a little bit, Bazazhapov.
Yeah, I mean, his group isn't actually that bad. If you drag that up over the middle of the target, he'd probably have a 29 there, but just dropping low left, whether that's something in his technique, which has just gone a little bit soft, or whether it's just the conditions, you know, they've all moved in the same direction, so he needs to make that change, having a chat with his coach about what sort of things, you know, he needs to do, and go in there confidently, make an adjustment to his sight there, see?
There we get a very good look at all the intricacies of the bow and indeed the arrow, which, as Nikki mentioned earlier on, is a specialist bit of equipment individualised for each of the archers, and there is what looks like a fairly significant twist of the sight there, but you need to do one full rotation or one click, as you call it.
Well, that's a big difference. One rotation might be 20 clicks, so they've got really, really fine adjustment on them, and perhaps, well, it's different for everybody, but perhaps a whole turn might take you a collar band out.
There you go. 2 apiece, all square, in this gold medal match at the European Championships between Pablo Acha of Spain and Galsan Bazazhapov of Russia, who is going to break away in the third. Well, it's a clear 8 for Bazazhapov. I'm not so sure it's a clear 8 for Pablo Acha. In fact, I think I heard the coach saying that is on the line. So we think that's a 9 for Acha. Mini advantage for him, and look at the grouping there. Now that is going to be difficult to measure both of those. And now that one is marked as a 9. Well, a 10 from Bazazhapov, and we think that they are all square here. We saw a little bit of a smile on Acha's face there. Just because the 2 arrows were so close together and on the line?
Yeah, I think so. Just what a group he got, and he just needs to move it over. Not quite enough, a little better, but still a wee bit low. He's just changing his sight there.
So marked as a 26. We think Acha's on a 27. 10 here. Well, he's done it again. The thing about these arrows is that they're going, they're not going all left or all right. They're spread across the target.
Yeah, it looked like an error, that one, didn't it? I think maybe the chance he knew that arrow could potentially take the set perhaps got to him at that point. His coach just talking there through his execution, pointing to his head, thinking the right things at the right time perhaps, and yeah, maybe he just got outside of his process and dropped that 8. Well, I say 8. If it is marked up, it looked like an 8 to me.
Yeah. So actually, this is an important measure here, because if Acha's arrow, the first one, isn't marked up as a 9, Bazajarpov's is marked up to an 8. We're all square. And that means it will be 3-3 rather than 4-2 as it shows now. There you go, confirmation that either both arrows were marked up or both remain the same, all the same. Pablo Acha has come from 2-0 down and now leads by 4 set points to 2. And I think you're right, Nikki, there was a little bit of what we call choking going on there. He saw the points in sight and it made him stutter at the line.
Yeah, he's got to really stick to his process, just do his thing, forget what's going on around him.
Certainly does. It's time for set number 4, and from a winning position, Galsan Bazajarpov finds himself trailing and potentially losing the European title in this set. Goes first and needs some big points to put Pablo Acha under pressure.
Can be confident from that now. Nodding his head, feeling good. All his arrows low left. You know, if he just moves his group across, you know, he might feel that he's making the error and he needs to make the adjustment rather than moving his sight anymore. But if you just pulled the target face across, he'd have a much better score.
Slightly longer hold, but gets away with a 9. So we're all square in this set. No measures on the board at the moment. Bazajarpov, time to put some pressure on, needs a 10. Gets a 10. Now. What is Pablo Acha made of here? He needs a 10 to share the points. He's into the 9. What a great match this is. It's 4 apiece between these two. Acha seeing the funny side of it, and maybe that's his process to stay relaxed and calm. But really, what grit and determination from Galsan Bazajarpov.
Yeah, he's really come back, isn't he? I mean, I think Pablo's just laughing because he's probably doing everything he can to move those arrows across, and all he can get is that low left segment of the gold. And yeah, it's a good place to be. You've got to laugh it off. If you got annoyed about it, then, you know, you're likely to lose your head. So, you know, we're all square here, 4-all, I think. So each archer now just got to stick to their processes. Both of them, you know, keep with your normal shot routine, make that execution happen, and see what they can do.
Well, the two of them have pushed this one right the way through to a 5th and potentially concluding set. And of course, if they share the points in this one, we are going to have the European title decided in a shoot-off. 1 arrow. How special will that be? And you just saw the reaction from Acha there at the end. 4 apiece. Acha versus Bazajarpov go into a 5th and potentially deciding set, and it's the Spaniard who will shoot first.
The longer hold, I just wonder whether that's what's happening when he doesn't get that execution with the timing that he wants. They're just dropping low left. Oh, another low left.
Tension's just gone up a notch here.
And another smile that, you know, he's gone the opposite way now.
Yeah, it was low and left, now high and right. He can be philosophical about it, but at the moment they're matching each other. This could be the deciding arrows here. Who is going to get ahead, if either of them? That's what he needed, into the X-ring. A 10 for Bazajarpov required to share the points and force the shoot-off. He's shown what he's made of before. Oh, and he's just missed out, and this time he's gone to the right. He tried to correct things at the last minute there, Bajazapov, but in the end, Pablo Acha, who'd battled his low lefts, trying to push them up to the right, eventually went a bit too far, put it into the 10 to put the pressure on his Russian opponent, and it was enough to claim the Recurve men's European title of 2021. Great match, Nikki. What a great match.
Yeah, really great match all the way to the 5th set. I mean, it all came down to that last arrow, didn't it? So, yeah, great to see a good performance from both. And Pablo shooting that first one low left, then high right, and then straight in the middle. You know, he finally got it dialed in.
And nice to see that Ghassan Bajazapov also showing his philosophical side and just smiling at the end. Oh, well, you know, and but he made the correction on the very last arrow when you were pleading with him to make it a bit earlier.
Yeah, I think you've got to look back at these matches sometimes and think, you know, could I have made an adjustment earlier? I've got to look at my group, you know, look at it as a cross through the centre of the target, which segment are your arrows generally falling in, and make that shift, because you're just losing points, you know, for good groups.
We take a look back over the match here. Gives you an idea of how long this 70-metre target is, that long angle from behind the archers. He's all sternness, concentration, relaxed when he's shooting, but you do get some emotion from Pablo Acha in between shots and at the end of the set. And there you saw Bajazapov trying to steer his arrow after it had left the bow. Great shots there of the arrow flying down the 70-metre range and into the target. If your eyesight's good enough to see that far, of course. And there, the 10 of his final arrow was enough to put pressure on Bajazapov and take him to the European title. Well, it's been brilliant here in Antalya. The Recurve Sunday has been packed full of drama here. Lisa Barbalat claiming her first European title absolutely joyously, and Pablo Acha squeezing through a really tight one there against Ghassan Bajazapov of Russia. We'll just have one more ceremony to go, but it would be great to hear from Pablo Acha. Let's go down and speak to the European champion.
All right, congratulations, Pablo. You worked hard, but you deserved it. European champion. How do you feel?
Que enhorabuena por quedar campeón de Europa, que te lo mereces, que cómo te sientes.
Que la verdad que me siento muy bien. Sé que además todo el equipo está trabajando en una misma dirección y es lo que más me enorgullece en ese sentido.
I know I'm really happy, so I know all the team is doing a really good job in a good direction. This is the more motivation for me, and this is the more just the more giving to me to I don't know how to say in English, like confidence.
Yeah.
Excellent. Early on, it looked like you were struggling aiming low, and then you're able to bring it up. How are you able to do that?
Que cómo estabas manejando la situación cuando se estaban yendo la flecha abajo y si estabas compensando otro sitio o algo, lo que sea.
La verdad es que está muy tranquilo porque, como ya he dicho en anteriores entrevistas, confío ciegamente en el proceso. Sé que cuando solamente estoy pensando en el proceso todo llega y simplemente estaba pues tomando la decisión o apuntar más arriba a la derecha o tocar clics. En algunas he tocado clics y en otras he estado compensando cada vez más y nada más.
I was really calm because I really believe in my process and just try to choose where I need to aiming. If the arrows go down and left, I try to move a little bit or just to aim off a little bit more and just believe in my process, and that's the whole.
Awesome. You made a name yourself shooting third on the team, especially with shoot-offs, and now you are doing this by yourself individually. How proud are you to do it individually?
Que has tirado el tercer y cuarto puesto en el equipo, que ahora acaba de tirar la final en individual, que cómo de orgulloso te sientes de ti mismo.
Yo me siento súper orgulloso, y ya no solo en mí, sino también en mi coach y también en todo el trabajo que está haciendo todos mis compañeros, que gracias a todo el trabajo que estamos haciendo todos juntos, pues yo he podido conseguir estar tranquilo, disfrutar de esta eliminatoria y proclamarme campeón de Europa.
I'm really proud of myself, and I'm also really proud of my coach, and also I'm really proud of the work of all of the members of the team, all of the members of the staff, because they work really hard to. This is the reason to get calm in this situation, to get control in the under pressure, right? So this is the reason, because I take the title of European champion.
All right, thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Well, I know, Nicky, you're going to want to talk about that comment about he's confident in his process and he just tried to change his aim. But I want to say, very gracious of him there, that as soon as he was asked, now you're doing it as an individual, having shown you can do this as a team, he immediately said, hey, this is not just about me, it's my coach, it's my support team, it's everyone else around. And it's good that athletes are recognising how important that is to have that. But yes, that aiming situation, I know you want to say something.
Yeah, he just knew he just wanted to keep moving those arrows over, didn't he? But they wouldn't go, and he just felt that was a bit of a comical thing, which I think helped him relax through the match.
Time for the victory ceremony now here for the men's recurve at the European Championships in Antalya. The last of the medal ceremonies at this fabulous event.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Done a great job, the host, putting this on. Difficult circumstances. Done themselves proud, as have the three athletes who will be standing on the podium.
medals will be presented by Mr. Uwe Eldener, President of World Archery. Bronze medal
President of the
representing
International
Germany,
Federation,
Moritz
Eldener, presenting these medals. And it was a great win for the 20-year-old German against his teammate Florian Unruh. Moritz Wiese of Germany collects the bronze medal.
silver medal.
It was an incredibly tight gold medal match. Just pipped at the post was this brave Russian, world number 12. 26 years old, Galsan Bazazharpov. His focus will now be on Paris in 2 weeks' time to get a qualification spot for the Russian team for Tokyo.
European champion, representing Spain.
Well, he has been showing his form in recent times, particularly in team events, but here on his own, Pablo Acha has taken the European Championship title for Spain. A brilliant performance from a brilliant archer. He came in as world number 30. I suspect his ranking will keep on climbing, and he's just 24 years old. Let's celebrate with his anthem. Well, there we have it. Our final medalists here in Antalya at the European Championships. Pablo Acha, the European champion, Galsan Bazazharpov from Russia with silver, and Moritz Wiese from Germany with the bronze medal. Here are the final standings for the men. As is said, Acha, who is the form archer at the moment on the circuit, albeit without the Koreans playing at the moment, from Spain, takes the European title. Galsan Bazazharpov really played his role in the final, but collected the silver. It was two Germans fighting off for bronze, and Wiese was the one who collected it. Nikki, brilliant recurve Sunday, of course. Any particular highlights? I just want one from you today.
I think for me, Lisa Barbelin from France. I mean, she came here, she's won the Olympic quota spot. In fact, she won the entire tournament, and then she's come here and become European champion as well. Determination, just fantastic shooting. Really, really impressed.
Yeah, I agree. Lisa Barbelin was a brilliant winner and showing a great deal of emotion. As we look back on the mixed team matches, we saw Poland taking out Turkey, under par Turkey in the bronze medal match, and Russia beating Spain for gold. Barbelin, of course, with a brilliant performance in the gold for the women after that curious bronze medal match. And Pablo Acha leading the way. There is Barbelin. Pablo Acha leading the way in the men's recurve division. That's it from Antalya and these European Championships. In 2 weeks' time, the final qualifier for the Olympic Games is coming to you live from Paris. Nikki and I will be there with you. And just a week later, it'll be the third and final stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Logically, also the judges, please.